Then we talk about the games that are set to go down today for Crystal Palace. They would be in action after winning their English FA Cup. Manchester City, whom of course lost at the finals of the FA Cup in back-to-back seasons, they would also be in action later tonight. And then we'll just take a look at some of the moments, what we can expect going into the weekend. We know that the title race in all leagues, well, maybe has been decided, but for some leagues, you tell that it is not decided yet. But it's so good to be back on the show, and I have Peter with me. I won't say my right-hand man, but because he called my attention to it, I think that
now you find your way back there again. For me, it's got to do with the news from Manchester United ahead of the UEFA Cup final on Wednesday against Spurs in Bilbao. The good news is that Joshua Zirkzee, Yeni Yoro, and Diego Dalot are back in the squad. I saw them pictures of them jetting out of the city of Manchester to Bilbao. Spurs has been in Bilbao since Monday, and that the kind of performance and they had this season, the only thing they can hope for is to win the UEFA Cup and maybe brag with that to the other teams who failed to win, naming to those who've won trophy this season, and to imagine that everybody is now timing the Community Shield as a trophy seems to amaze me. When a particular fan says his team has won this, another fan will say, how can you term that as a trophy? So you now begin to see how important the Community Shield is, and also see how people are also putting so much into the EFL Cup. And that will go down to Jose.
Domestic trophies.
Yes, what Jose did when he first came to me. I remember that the first title he won was the EFL Cup. And from that year up till now, it has now become something that the big clubs will want to win. And like I was saying yesterday on the show, when Blessing was with me on the show, if you win the EFL Cup, it qualifies you for nothing. Because UEFA does not, what's the word now? Does not put attention. UEFA does
much
not
more recognize
the EFL Cup. So in countries like in England, in Scotland, and in France, where they have such cup games, if you win it, you stand a chance of qualifying for nothing. So unlike Newcastle, the FA Cup gives you a chance to play in the UEFA Cup.
Yeah,
that's what UEFA recognizes. To qualify for the UEFA Champions League. And guess what, SAMIES? They're going to brag more with that. To say, you know what, in 3 years, they've played Champions League on 2 occasions. And they also have 2 FA Cup finals. And they can also say, we've at the EFL Cup. So for me, it's been an interesting season so far. But there's still much for us to talk about. There's still much for us to see in the coming days. There's the UEFA Cup. There's the conference final, there's the women's final, there's the Champions League final, and of course we'll go back to national team football, the Nations League, and of course the Club World Cup and the rest that will be coming in the months ahead. But in terms of managers that will be missing in the dugout, to think that Inter Milan, when they need the most, it will not be done on the touchline. This game has been moved forward to Friday. Same also with the game between Betis and Valencia has been moved to Friday. You were telling me before we came on air that Chelsea Maresca is saying, why can't we have our game also? But we know the implication of that. If you say Betis, how come they are where they are? In Spain, it's been concluded. The teams playing the Champions League, playing the UEFA Cup, playing the Conference League, they know each other now. They know the teams going down. They know the teams that will staying up. So they can decide to reschedule game. Same also in Italy. The crucial games, they've been moved. The ones are also crucial, they've been separated. So the only thing we can ask for now, maybe for Chelsea and for the sake, is that can we move these games to Monday and say, okay, those who are looking for a place to qualify for the Champions League in England, can we shift those games to Monday or move them to Saturday? But the English want their thing done in an exceptional way.
Simultaneously.
They want all their games played, the 10 games played. Even when you have all the teams that have qualified, they want all their games played the same day because that's the tradition. That's what they are used to. So it's a lot to expect in the coming days. Inter Milan, I don't know what they want to do to this one. They want to win the double. They want to win the Scudetto. They want to win the Champions League.
But to say that last month for Inter Milan, they were in the race for the quadruple.
Yeah.
But everything just fell flat in their face.
When you say months, you are talking about 5 months because
just last month.
April. Okay, you treble, not quadruple.
Okay, treble.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Treble.
And AC Milan stopped them from 1. The AC Milan couldn't go ahead to win the Coppa Italia. They lost to Bologna. I think the 2 they have now will be the biggest for them. Sammy.
If they win both?
If they win, it will be the biggest because they can easily say, okay, the Coppa Italia to retain it. They also want to win the Champions League. Last time they won was 2010. That's about 15 years ago. So they want to win. And I don't know. I've not checked the odds to see where the Champions League, who is favors now. Because you take nothing away from Paris Saint-Germain. You can't beat Villa, beat Man City, beat Liverpool, beat Arsenal, and you say you want to put them behind. No.
But then, for Inter Milan?
Yeah, for Inter Milan, to the final. Who was it? Barcelona. That's all. Who else again? They are in the route to final.
Who else?
Yeah, tell me. Maybe I forgot. Tell me.
Bayern Munich?
Okay, name one more. I named 4. I named 4 for PSG.
And that's
maybe
for PSG.
You help me more.
You talk about Bayern Munich and that's what else did they play? Barcelona semi-finals or quarter-finals.
Yeah.
They were in the round of 16. Who did they play against? I think that was Club Brugge. I think they played against yeah.
Whatever, I can't remember. But I can give you the list of the teams that PSG were on the verge of being knocked out of the league.
See, the reason why you can remember that of PSG is because en route that they played English opposition.
That's what I'm saying, and they are not lesser team. Aston Villa beat Club Brugge. Aston Villa beat Bayern en route. Drew against Juventus in the league stage. So that's what I'm saying. All of this, and let's leave the argument of. But I'm just saying I wish to see the odds who has got the better of Inter and PSG. Managers dug out. Ajax, they've got no manager. They're looking for one.
And then Ten Hag's name has popped up also.
Who helped PSV win at a point in time. Don't forget, was in charge of Ajax when they won the Eredivisie. Now is in charge of his side from Eindhoven, PSV. For me, it's been fantastic. And let's come back a little bit to home because don't forget also the MPFL is also wrapped up.
Of course.
We still have the FA Cup.
But with one more slot, relegated team.
Yes. And I don't know.
Abia Warriors against Ikorodu City, nothing happens.
Nothing.
He just said that Abia Warriors.
Before you take the other headlines, I was watching the RS Buchanan game and Simba. And while watching over the weekend, the only thing that came to my mind was that just make me happy again. I don't like this.
And probably you were
happy. Of always going back to what happened when some of us were in secondary school.
That you were happy this season, or you are happy this season, but just that the joy of or the disappointment in seeing shooting stars drop from second to that position where they are now. We wanted something new this season. We saw lots of different angles this season. All respect to Remo Stars who won the NPFL title, but I'll look at one side and I'll say that's a good move from this side, and it's all about Ikorodu City. What Ikorodu City did, this was what a side also in Lagos failed to do last season. Sporting Lagos came with all the noise, came with all the buzz and everything.
It was the first start of the league they were showing.
Yeah.
The good thing about the league this time is that both Remo and Rivers that finished first and second in the league, we've seen what they've done over the years. Yeah,
the last 2 years, Rivers were champions.
Yes, you can give it to
Remo Stars back-to-back runners up.
You can give it to these two guys, but the surprise package you have to be Abia Warriors, where they're coming from.
Okay, no, third,
where they're coming from, and Ikorodu also where they're also coming from. So you must say kudos. But Sammy, let's leave that aside. My major concern is that can we have, with all due respect to Tanzanians who can listen, who can hear us this afternoon, I'm not trying to pull the league down or pull that national team, that country down. Who would have thought in the last 5 years, I don't want to go too far, just 5 years ago, that you have a team from Tanzania in Simba doing well in the CAF Interclub competition? Who would have thought about that? Those boys, yes, they lost in Buchanan by 2-0, but I saw a side led by a South African coach who got into that game. Yes, schoolboy mistake cost them, but they played with so much confidence. I'm only hoping that Remo Stars, a privately owned club, can pull some things, can strengthen that side. I am not sure yet. I'm a little bit not sure about Rivers also. Am I sure about Abia Warriors? Is a no. Because SAMIES, you know what I'm about to say. They're going to get tougher opposition
in the route
the group stage. Can they survive it? The other major thing, SAMIES, is that these teams are not even sure that they will play their games on their
own stuff. Yeah, with the presence of 11th man,
one of the
or
reasons
12th man,
our teams could not proceed further in the championship this year. So I have my fears. And it's there for everybody to see. How much support will the national team give? How much will the NFF? The state government will do their part. How much will the NFF show support? The ministry, the sport commission, how much support can they show to this team? I have my fears. If I'm not careful, it's Tanzania now. Maybe the next one will be Rwanda. I know they have a good club side in Rwanda. Maybe the next one will be a club from not Sudan. Sudanese have got good clubs who are doing well. So I can't just see us going down every year. 2012, 2013, was it Enyimba of Abba? How many years ago, Samis? It's about 20 years ago. 20 years ago, and we haven't gotten the club side. Maybe for Heartland, who played against Tipi Muzembe a few years later, and they won in Nigeria by 2-1. They lost in Mumbashi by 1-0, and so on the way go, they lost the final. How many times have you seen club side? So I'm just hoping. That's my major concern. I'm hoping that Remo Stars can do something. Rivers can do something. And do well in the league. Look at what I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. Look at how much FIFA will be giving to clubs going to the Club World Cup. Sundowns, who was again Al Ahly,
yeah. African side.
Why that? What they will be getting, rubbing minds with the big 3 years ago when Enyimba or 20 or 22 years ago were playing there. Even though they went to Inter Milan, it got whooped in that one. But that's a friendly game. So I'm just concerned about the league.
Four African sides are playing in the CAF
in the Club
World Cup. That's Al Ahly of Egypt, Wydad of Morocco, Esperance de Tunis, and also Mamelodi Sundowns.
I wish our club side can.
But Peter, you made mention of Remo Stars, and I'm very sure that the owner, that's Ame, and even the head coach who has been there, he has taken them to the continent on 2 occasions now, and this is going to be the 3rd. So I want to believe that they are going to learn from their past mistakes, so they can get one right to even qualify for the group stages of the CAF Champions League or the CAF Confederations Cup. So for people who don't know, it is so certain that Remo Stars, still as the champions, they'll be playing straight in the group stage of the CAF Champions League. They will still play in the preliminary stages of the competition.
That's the
coefficient.
Oh my, that's what I'm saying. Are they playing straight? Are they going straight into the group stage?
They are not playing straight in the group stage.
That's what one of the arguments. A colleague posed a couple of years now or a few months, that why is ours this different? Because ordinarily, as champions, they should be going straight into the group stage.
But they're using coefficients.
What we do is copy and paste what the Europeans they do. Isn't it copy and paste?
Yeah.
So why can't we just say, okay, the 10 champions from the 10 top clubs or 10 top leagues on the continent will have a passage into the group stage, and maybe increase the numbers to 24, spread it across 8 groups. Just do something.
But they'll be surprised. Rivers United can still play in the group stage automatically. But then, it's still something about African football which definitely will still look out for how we can evolve within the shores of our own country. That's talking about Nigerian football. But before we go back to talk about a bit of football stories as well as other sporting stories, let's quickly go straight to Abeokuta and talk about the National Sports Festival, the 22nd edition, where definitely there are updates. For the games set to go down today in the handball, or your state will be up against Imo State, the female football team, later today by 4:30 p.m. The venue is the Alake Sports Complex there in Abeokuta, handball rather. But then we talk about rewards. Your state, yesterday we won medals for ourselves, and you can tell that the Commissioner for Youth and Sport, that's Wasila Tadegoke, through our representative, that's Yusuf Adebisi.
Where's the commissioner? You said Ibadan to Abeokuta is not far, it's like 1 hour.
She's out of the country.
To where?
Religious journey.